established rich coming right back at you. This country has a real comfortable way of talking about black people like we just randomly became the way we are without ever talking about what happened to us. And that's why this Charleston White conversation has been stuck in my head. Because when he starts talking about black people having a coward spirit or saying we too violent or we only destroy each other, the internet immediately turns that into a yes or no argument. Either you agree with him or you don't. But y'all know it ain't that simple. Because if we being real, some of what Charleston was saying comes from a place of frustration. There are parts of Black America that absolutely have violence problems, a self-destructive culture, and a normalization of chaos that we got to be honest about. We see young men throwing their life away every single day over ego, internet beef, pride, and emotions they don't even know how to control. That part is true. But what bothers me is when people talk about the condition of Black America like it exists in a vacuum, like history doesn't matter, like poverty doesn't matter, like trauma doesn't matter, like you can just talk about the final result without ever discussing what created it.
Location. I told him meet me at the police department, and I drove to the police department. Turned my camera around, said, "Yeah, you meet me at the police department."
That's what started it.
That's what started.
Okay.
F you too. Y'all don't kill number niggas. Y'all ain't shot it now gun. So now it's all you because y'all ain't done nothing now. White man, now Mexican, but y'all got a history of killing more than the Ku Klux Klan. How you go honor that?
I mean, just in general, people tend to kill other people within their group.
Show me the Jews.
Kill whites.
Show me Jews killing Jews. Show me Asians killing Asians. Show me where they have show me where they make up the smallest percentage of people in the country and they have over most of the homicides. No other race has that but us. No other race does gangbanging like us.
The Hispanics do it.
The Hispanic,
whites do it.
The Hispanic murder rate is not like the black on black crime.
It might not be as high, but
it ain't even close.
If a Hispanic person gets killed, it's almost certainly going to be by another Hispanic person. 80% of the time.
Name me last time you can recall a big Hispanic gang killing compared to ours.
Hispanic gangs kill each other all the time out here.
But we don't know it.
I mean,
name one.
They ain't famous enough that people are putting it on the front page.
Whether ours is famous or not, you're going to hear about us. Nobody kills each other more than black Americans, nowhere on earth. You cannot compare that to anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a higher percentage.
It's not even a higher percentage. Nobody does to each other what black Americans do to each other. White people don't do each other like this. Mexicans don't do each other like this. When Mexican gang come in, they take each other in. Mexicans don't openly fuck over each other.
So
in front of other people.
So then the whole question becomes, and one side
I don't care about gangs, period.
But one side makes you a normal person and the other side makes you some sort of Nazi. The question is there something inherent in black people that they want to kill each other, or is it just surely because of the conditions in America that they've been in?
It has nothing to do with the conditions of America. You wanting to kill people has everything to do with the conditions of your heart and not the conditions of your environment.
The conditions of your heart are going to be determined by the conditions you grew up in, right?
I know plenty of people grew up in the conditions and don't kill people or hurt people or gangbang.
Well, it's not going to transfer to everybody.
I know people that grew up in worse conditions than L.A. gangbangers grew up in and don't kill people.
So what's in the heart of a black man that he just wants to kill?
I don't know.
That's really what you think?
Yeah.
Really?
It's in his heart. Yeah, all killers kill based from their heart, not their mind.
Do you think that like black people just have this like warrior spirit that makes them want to do battle?
Warriors don't group up, soldiers do. Warriors fight alone. They don't fight in groups.
Okay.
Yeah, black people don't have a warrior spirit because if we had a warrior spirit, we'll kill a white man as soon as we can think about it.
Right.
We have a coward spirit. That's why we hurt each other.
See, this part of the conversation is why I think people start talking past each other. Because Charleston White speaks from the perspective of personal accountability. And I don't even think that part is completely wrong. At some point, people do have to take responsibility for their actions. You can't keep destroying your own communities. You can't keep glorifying ignorant and then act ignorant when the results look ignorant. That's just keeping it real. But I also think it's dangerous when we talk about black people, like we just naturally arrived at this condition on our own. That's why I part ways with him, because black people in America have been under pressure for so long that a lot of folks don't even realize how deep the damage really goes. And I ain't even saying that to sound emotional. I'm saying it because history leaves scars on people, whether you want to admit it or not. You can't spend generations pushing people into poverty, over-policing their communities, underfunding the schools, flooding the neighborhood with drugs, tearing apart families through mass incarceration, and then act shocked when the culture starts reflecting pain. That don't even make sense. And this is why I say Charleston is talking about the symptoms without really talking about the root of the illness. He keep talking about the blood on the floor without talking about who been stabbing the community for the last 400 years. And again, before somebody twists my words, this ain't about making excuses. That's another thing people do nowadays. The moment you try to add context to a problem, people act like you're trying to remove accountability. You can hold people accountable and also acknowledge that they've been dealing with a broken system their entire life. Those two things can exist together. And honestly, I think that's what makes these conversations so frustrating now. Everything gotta be extreme. Either black people are completely innocent or black people are the worst people on earth. Ain't no balance no more. Ain't no nuance no more. But when you really live life and pay attention, you start understanding that most human problems come from a mix of personal choices and broken conditions at the same time. And one thing I wish people would stop doing is acting like the majority of black Americans are gangsters or criminals. Most black people ain't out here causing no chaos. Most black people wake up tired as hell every morning trying to pay bills, raise kids, stay out the way, and hold their life together just like everybody else. But negativity always gets the biggest camera. The worst part of the community always gets turned into the representation for the whole community. And that's been happening to black people for a long time. Now, do we have internal problems we need to fix? Of course. We got to stop celebrating crash out culture like it's manhood. We got to stop acting like emotional instability is strength. We got to stop letting music, social media, and internet validation stop turning young men into suicide bombers for ego. That's real too. But it's hard to heal people when they don't fully understand what's hurting them in the first place. And that's the part of the conversation I think gets lost. Black America has been in survival mode for so many generations that sometimes we don't even recognize how much trauma we normalized. Think about that. There are things people see in our community that would traumatize other people for life. Growing up around gunshots, watching people get locked up, funerals every few months, watching your friends die young, watching your parents struggle every single day, living in environments where the stress never really turns off. That type of pressure changes people over time. And when you mix that with poverty, bad education, broken homes, addiction, and a system that profits off self-destruction, you create a very dangerous cycle. That don't mean black people are weak. That means human beings respond to their environment. Everybody does. And honestly, that's why I get tired of people acting like racism or systemic damage just magically disappears because it's not 1962 no more. No, some of the signs changed, some of the language changed, but a lot of the damage never got repaired. It just evolved. And what makes it even harder is that now we live in a time where people want to mock black people for the damage without ever talking about the people that helped create it. And look, I understand why Charleston White gets attention. He says things that shock people. He speaks in absolutes. He takes frustrations people already have and turns them into viral sound bites. That's his gift. But sometimes the most viral conversation ain't the most complete conversation. And I think that's the real issue here. Don't talk about black people like we some random broken experiment with no origin story. That's lazy. That's easy. And I think deep down, a lot of people like simple explanations because they don't require empathy. It's easy to say black people need to do better. That's easy. The harder question is, why do certain conditions keep repeating themselves generation after generation? That's the part that makes people uncomfortable. Because once you start asking those questions, now you got to start looking at the entire system differently. And honestly, I know black people can overcome all of this. I really believe that. Because if we've survived everything we've already been through, then there's still strength here. There's still brilliance here. There's still greatness here. But we're not going to fix anything by lying to ourselves or by letting other people tell our story without context. And that's the part that I wanted to add. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.